What's up, everybody? We're back with another episode of Bullish Chips, where we use a proven and repeatable strategy to make money every day. This channel focuses on the bullish semiconductor ETF, which goes by the ticker symbol SOXL. But our charting method and our trading method, you can use it with, to trade any company that's publicly traded on the U.S. stock market. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button also and the notification bell. We do release bonus content from time to time, so make sure you are alerted when that happens. The bonus content is definitely going to be more in depth than the nightly and weekend videos. The nightly and weekend videos are focused on identifying like the triggers and targets for trades ranging from scalps to and intraday trades to long-term swings and leaps as well. But it just focuses mostly on the triggers and targets. The bonus content focuses on goes deeper into how we come up with those triggers and targets. So if you do want that deeper dive, check out the bonus content on our YouTube page, and you can check out the description of this video for more information about the strat, which is the base of our charting and trading method. Let's go ahead and get into the agenda for today. We'll recap today's price action. We'll zoom out real quick to look at the week, month, quarter, and year. We'll zoom back in, take a look at the market maker's expected move for tomorrow. If you're not familiar with that, this is something that can be used for day traders and intraday traders. And then we'll also go over the 4-hour markers and the triggers and targets for tomorrow, and then review the triggers and targets for the week, month, quarter, and year. So just getting into the charts, we've got all the important levels. They're the 4-hour markers on here. This is looking at a scalping perspective first, 5-minute chart. We've got the overnight high here at 43.50, previous high of day at 49.24, opening print at 42.58, previous low of day down here at 38.68, and overnight low, I apologize, is right here at 42.30. So kind of clumped up right here with the overnight high, previous high of day, opening print, and overnight low. So that does sometimes kind of indicate there'll be a tighter range, more choppy action, and that's kind of what we got today. So you can see we opened here. This was the first candle of the day, and it was a 2 down technically, but it was green. And we continued to push down a little bit, got the 2 up, but that created the lower high right at this opening print. And if you're not familiar with this channel, general rule is lower highs at or below opening print. We're looking to get into puts. Higher lows above or at opening print, we're looking to get into calls. So this would have this would have meant you got into a put here. We got the push down, lower high here, and then a push down further. We did get a pretty decent push back up, but it never cleared this high here, so it still made a lower high and push down. Now it did get countered with a higher low, and then a soft higher low here as well. So once we got the higher high here compared to this candle, you would have wanted to go ahead and get out. So depending on where you got in, say you got in right at the break, that was 42.30 area, and then you would have got out around the 41.72 area. So not a bad piece of a change to get from SOXL there, especially if you got multiple contracts, you're at the money, in the money. That's going to get you some more action. Now you could have re-entered at this point, right? We're still below opening print. We got the higher low, higher high here. And then we got rejected by this overnight low twice, right? Basically like a double top. So once we get this equal high and the push down, you could have even waited for this lower high here before you entered your puts, but you could have entered another set of puts. Again, not as much range, but you still could have played it. And then you could have took a more risky play if you saw that this is this 200 fib extension from the August 2nd gap up last Thursday. If you wanted to play kind of risky and think that this was going to be the pullback bounce point, you could have bought calls there, and you got the higher lows all the way up through into the end of the day. So that's how things played from an intraday perspective. If we just look at the day chart overall, we can see that we're still running into this clump of daily broadening formations just slightly above this weekly broadening formation. So have not fully conquered this weekly broadening formation. Still reasonable to think that we could get pulled back within it. We've got left this gap here from last Thursday. So, did we want to fill that gap at the end of the week, beginning of next week? Possibly. But for right now, we're just, hitting that resistance very close to this 100 fib extension of the April low to July high, and then the pullback in July basically made a bull flag. If we add fib extensions to that, we're basically at that 100 fib extension. So perfectly reasonable after this big bounce from this 11-week range that we had to see some type of pullback, possible retest. We are in a pretty strong momentum, pretty strong uptrend though from the bulls perspective. So I personally wouldn't be swinging any puts overnight. Playing them intraday, I did today, so I don't see any problem with that. But it's just more risk than I would want to take to swing overnight, just looking at the momentum that we have with this move. And if we look at overnight, it's at 42.75 right now, up 1.2%. So we're already up overnight, and it doesn't really look that we'll be pushing down tomorrow. Never know what could happen overnight and in the morning, but so we'll be ready for price action whichever way it goes, to the downside or upside. We'll go over those triggers and targets here in a minute, but that's how things look from the day. We got this hammer, but it was red, meaning we closed below where we opened. So not exactly bearish just because it's red, but not exactly bullish just because it's a hammer. Got to just continue to play this and wait for the triggers to trigger and enter and try and reach those targets. Week perspective, we're pushing back up, but we're still in this red. Oh, there we go, red. Let me bring up a more clear chart. Still got this red hammer here, right? So same type of thing as the day perspective. You might think it's bearish because it's red, but it's a hammer as well, so it's kind of bullish. So it is the highest high in this particular move up, so there's always a chance for a pullback. Again, we've got the gap here, gap here, gap here, which all could be filled before we even make a higher low on the week perspective, which would still continue the uptrend. You can also look at this here. Again, there's that bull flag that I was talking about with the April low, July high, and then the July pullback, making that a bull flag. And we've almost basically reached the magnitude. You want to go the same distance as the flagpole, going up as your target, and we've pretty much reached that point. That's kind of the 50% line of last year, this 46.79. So continue to stay bullish, a little bit more neutral. Didn't have a lot of action today. It was basically sideways. So we're still just looking to see where the week is going to finish out. Only one more day in the week, so we'll see where that goes. From the month perspective, still very strong, right? We've completed this 3 combo 2 down, combo 2 up, and we've triggered this 1 combo 2 down, combo 2 up, targeting that 70.08, which is the same target as the 1 2 down, 2 up on the quarter perspective, right? Here's the 1 combo 2 down, combo 2 up. Magnitude is not the high of the 1, but the candle to the left of the 1. So that's that 70.08 as well. The year, although we did start out with the 1 2 up, 2 down, which is obviously negative, we right here we got the 1 2 up, 2 down. We did get the push down, but we didn't reach magnitude, giving us a higher low from the year perspective and a nice solid hammer. So the longer, if we can finish the year like this, then it gives us a real easy chance of going 2 up next year with the target of the 70.08 from the year perspective as well. So as long as we're staying above that 36.15 level, let me go back to the quarter. So the real clean 1 2 down, 2 up triggered here, right? At the high of this 2 down right here, which was that 36.15. That was the magic number for so long. So as long as price is above 36.15, then you should feel confident that we're still continuing down the road to target the 70.08. Just because it triggered on the quarter chart doesn't mean that it's going to happen this quarter or even next quarter. It's just what triggered on this particular time frame, and as long as you are above that trigger, it's still in play. So again, from a long-term, or not long-term, high time frame perspective, things are looking really bullish, right? Let's go ahead and go into the swing chart. Oop. And let's bring in the 1 hour. All right, so let's talk about the market maker's expected move, we can see on the chart here, we've got the market makers expected move high up here at 44.60 and the market makers expected move low at 39.88. How we come up with, well, we don't come up with that number, the market makers do obviously, but if you go to your, this is Thinkorswim, you go to the options chain for this week, October 10th, you can see that there's a plus or minus 2.363. That's basically the market makers saying that price should go plus or minus $2.36 from today's closing price. So today's closing price is 42.24. You add $2.36 to that, we get 44.60. You subtract $2.36 from 42.24, and you got 39.88. All right. So that's where the market makers expect price action to be, right? Somewhere in between these levels. Now, if we get price that approaches one of these levels, either market makers expect to move high or low, does that mean price is automatically going to reverse there? No, right? That's just what the market makers expect. There's a high probability, it's like 70% chance that the price will stay within that, but there's still a chance that it can go above it. So we just want to look at it as another inflection point, a place where price could reverse, could see sideways action, but it could also bust through it, right? So just want to keep that in mind. It does come into play more often than not, and want to make sure that you're prepared. So let's just look at it from a scalping perspective tomorrow. Let's come on, Thinkorswim. Let's get a good chart here. And let's zoom down a little bit so we can get all our 4-hour markers in here. Actually, let's go to the scalp chart. So if we're looking at the scalp chart, we can see the 4-hour markers that we've got in play. Now, again, I have not moved the overnight high and overnight low yet. I'll wait till tomorrow morning to move those because they're more than likely going to change overnight. But we've got our overnight high up here at 43.50, previous high a day here at 42.84, overnight low at 42.30, and previous low a day here at 41.01. All right, so let's say tomorrow price action, let's zoom it out a little bit so it's not such a, there we go. Let's say we get that push up that we were looking at overnight and price action opens up here, right? Let's say price action opens here, pushes up, hits this fib extension, we get a pullback, but we get a higher low and we continue to push up. That's why we want to enter calls, first targeting overnight high. We're not bringing previous high a day into the picture because the magnitude is so little, and it would probably be a bounce point if we got the push up and then a pullback. So the only target we have from the scalping perspective is consistent target, right? This is part of the repeatable strategy, right? The only other 4-hour marker we have left to the upside is this 43.50 level. Now, if you reach that 43.50 level, now we can move into the 4-hour and 1-day triggers and targets that we'll get into here in a minute. But it wouldn't, especially if you got 0 days, it wouldn't be a bad spot to either close the position if things are starting to move sideways and you don't know whether it's going to go up or down, or just closing out part of your position if we've still got that momentum going up to lock in some profit and leave yourself a little bit of room to play to the upside, right? Same thing applies to the downside. If we open here, we get a push down, we get a push back up, but we get a lower high underneath or at opening print, then we want to enter puts, and our first target is going to be overnight low, second target going to be previous low a day. Now, again, we're in the face of a pretty strong uptrend, so will we reach previous low a day? You never know. So you want to keep a couple of intermediate targets in there on the way down, and we'll go over those here in a minute when we look at the notes for the triggers and targets. Let's go look at things from a more of a day trade, overnight swing perspective. We'll do that. To do that, we'll bring up the 4-hour chart. And we can see that today we had the first 4-hour was a 2 down, triggering the 3, 2 up, 2 down. So the magnitude of that move is the low of the 3, but we did have intermediate targets in here on the way down because, again, we're in the face of a strong uptrend and it only reached one of our targets. So we bounced from there. It did get some sideways action there, but we ended up bouncing from there. And that's why we want to have those intermediate targets because, yes, it did trigger a strat reversal, but you've got to look at what is in play. It's basically full time frame continuity to the upside, right? The month, the quarter, and the year are green. We're very close to flipping the week green. It's right there as well. We've set a higher low from the 4-hour perspective. We're trying to set a higher low from the day perspective. So there's a lot of you've got support here from the move up that we had as well. So there's a lot of things that you could bounce from before getting to this magnitude. Last week's high, another bounce point. So you want to, temper your puts right now until you can get, like a lower high on like the 4 hour. We got the lower high, almost equal high on the 1 hour, but we put in a higher low and continue to move up. So we just want to make sure that we're not getting too overloaded with puts until we get a stronger signal that price is going to go down for more than just an intraday period. So if we do get price action to the downside, that would continue this 3-2 up combo 2 down, again targeting the magnitude being the low of the 3, but we'll have our intermediate targets that we'll go over here in a second. And then if we get price action to the upside, that's a 2 down 2 up reversal, and we'll be triggering this 2 up as our first target, right? That would fall in line with this 1 hour downtrend line, the weak flip, which has been resistant so far, right? So expect another battle around this 42.80 level. If we look at things from the day perspective, right, we have a 2-1-2, no matter which way we go, either a 2-1-2 down or a 2-1-2 up. Obviously much more magnitude to the downside, but again, we're looking in the face of a strong uptrend, right? So kind of keep that in mind, that although there's not a lot of magnitude here, we're in the uptrend, so we can look for extended targets like the fib extensions, the market makers expected to move high, the weekly broadening formation, last year's 50% line, right? We've still got targets to the upside. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the notes. For Friday, October 10th, there will be 55 trading days left in the year tomorrow. Previous close, meaning today's close, was 42.24. We know we are red on the week, meaning we flip green at 42.83, but we're green on the month, quarter, and year, so we don't need to go over those levels too much. The expected move for the week, we're already above the high for that, right? So that just goes to show, again, the price doesn't have to reverse at that level. You can still get price action above that level. Now we're getting kind of pulled back to that level, and maybe we finish below that level, so where we ultimately finish might still be within the market maker's expected move high, but intraday price action you can still see, and even overnight price action over that level. So looking at the market maker's expected move for tomorrow, Friday, October 10th, again, it's that $2.36 move, either plus or minus, giving us a range of 44.60 or 39.88. Obviously, we know where our gaps above are and our gaps below are, and then we went over how to play the 4-hour markers from a scalping perspective. From the intraday, day trade, overnight swing perspective, on the 4-hour, if we get price action to the downside, that's a 3-2 up, combo 2 down, triggering at 41.01. Again, here are our intermediate targets because we're in the face of that strong uptrend, but the ultimate magnitude is 38.68. If we go to the upside, we get a 2 down 2 up reversal, triggering at 42.25, and again, that magnitude isn't very high, but we've got these extended targets that we can look for as well. On the day perspective, if we go to the downside, that triggers a 2-1-2, oops, if I can type, right, 2-1-2 down. And then if we reach magnitude for that re-triggers the 3-2 up, combo 2 down. So again, the 2-1-2 down triggers at 41.01, and the magnitude is 38.68. If we go below 38.68, that triggers the 3-2 up, combo 2 down, giving us an intermediate target of 38.14 and an ultimate target of 37.62. Right, that's for the day. For the day to the upside, we would have a failed 2 down, red 1, 2 up. Not a lot of magnitude there, right? So 42.84 to 43.37 in comparison to the magnitude of the downside move, but we do have our extended targets, right? And we're in an uptrend, so we can continue to rely on those extended targets. We already went over the week, month, quarter, and year charts. If you want to go over those again, go ahead and rewind the video. But for now, we'll just go over the triggers and targets. We have already triggered the 2 up, 2 up. Because we're above 40.06, we triggered that early in the week, and we actually hit one of the targets, right? We're still looking to hit the extended targets here, but we are still 2 up, 2 up, and we're in force, right? That's why it's bold. If we were to go bearish engulfer or red 3 on the week, we'd have to get all the way down to 33.57, so I don't think we're going to see that tomorrow. From the month perspective, again, we triggered the 2 up at 35.49, hit that first target of 41.19, and again, looking for these extended targets on the way up. On the quarter, we triggered the 2 down, combo 2 up very quickly, and very quickly reached the magnitude. Trigger was 35.49, the magnitude was 36.15, that magic 36.15. But that then triggered the 1 combo 2 down, combo 2 up, and we've hit a couple more of those targets on the way to the extended targets that we have and the ultimate target of 70.08. Again, on the year, we talked about how we started out as a 1, 2 up, 2 down. Almost got to magnitude, didn't quite reach it, but that leaves us with a higher low, and we've got a green hammer on the year, so that puts us in very good position for a 2 down, 2 up trigger next year with that target of 70.08. So those are your triggers and targets for today. Try to keep everything pretty short, still packing in a lot of information. Hope everybody's liking the videos. If you are, make sure you give them a thumbs up. If you've got any comments, questions, suggestions, let us know. We'll be glad to respond. But tomorrow's the last day of the week. I hope you've had a good trading week so far. So if you are in the green for the week, don't look at tomorrow like you're playing with house money, or let's end the week on a big note, right? Not necessarily a good feeling going into the weekend knowing you lost a bunch of money on Friday that you won on Monday through Thursday. So you put in the hard work, you put in the dedication, you stayed disciplined and made that money early in the week. Let's do the same thing on Friday, right? Don't end on you can end on a red Friday, but just make sure that whatever you're playing isn't depleting everything you won through the week, right? So, go out there, have some fun. Make sure you get some good rest tonight. That way you're clear for the morning. But let's have some fun tomorrow, and look forward to seeing you out there trading.